And with that, I'm going to ask my friend Jason to come to the table.
When everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine.
Dancing song. You guys want to dance? We're going to do this the rest of the show. Let's do it. Get up.
Do it upside down.
Because it feels good. And it's late. Okay, we're good. Thank you so much for indulging. All right. So this is my friend Jason, Jason Gore. We actually met on Instagram. There's a couple people here in the audience who matter a lot to me, who I met through Instagram. I'm talking to you girls back there. All right. And so when I started my business, and I was like, Instagram is the place to be, I was looking for North Bay people. This guy, handstands for days. Upside down more than he's upside right. Does anybody here follow? Shout, woo-hoo! So you know what I'm talking about. And what I loved about his story, because we're not on the same physical journey.
None of us are.
Right? So why would I follow someone who's so physically fit, whatever? And it was the way he shares the story in the journaling that you do on your Instagram. So I asked Jason to be part of our guest speakers today because if anyone understands overcoming challenges, it's this guy. And I just love you so much, and I'm so glad that you're in our lives.
I'm so glad to be a part of yours.
We're your tribe. And so I asked one of my close tribe members.
The conversation keeps coming up about tribe and stuff like that. And myself with my journey, I grew up as one of those guys that would walk down a hallway with their eyes pointed at the ground because when I first started school, I was always afraid of everything.
Yeah.
And so as I was growing up, I had these negative thoughts about myself all the time, and I would always have these conversations with the guy in the mirror, and they were never good. And that happened most of my life. And a couple years ago, I was in an accident. I witnessed my brother in a bad accident, and it forced me to go and get the help that I always needed. I was always a supervisor or something like that, and people always looked to me for help, and I was always the one that was on the job site answering questions. And after that accident, I didn't have answers, and I knew I was broken inside because...
And this started like at the young age of 12, prepubescent.
Yeah, it was conditioning from the time I was a child. It was just the way that I thought about myself, right? Everybody thinks differently. And the other thing that I learned from Arthur was that every single person thinks differently. And I really used to think that everybody thought like I did. And then if they didn't act the way that I did or didn't react the way that I did, I would get frustrated. But
I love that you said that.
And now I realize everybody is so different. It's just a complete game changer. I mean, every person that I talk to is an incredible conversation. Every single person in here has got their journey that they've been on. It doesn't matter that I saw what I saw. Everybody has seen stuff growing up, and you know, the relationship with that person in the mirror is extremely important.
It is. It really is. And that's where Ben was talking about truth earlier.
Yeah.
Being honest with yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are seeing a little theme. And I have to say, it was accidental. When I approached our friends and our community leaders and said, hey, like, this is our concept for the show, everyone came to the table with their choice of topic, and it just worked, where every single person touched upon the same thing, but it was their own beautiful message.
Yeah.
And when you talk about expectations, that is a huge part of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You have this idea of what it should be, but then it's not like that, so you feel less, or you feel angry, or you attach an emotion with it, and it shouldn't belong there because that part's not real. So, you are currently in school.
I am, yeah. I'm taking business.
So that's a lot.
It is. It was a big change. And after the accident, I ended up off. I'm on WSIB and stuff because I was broken. And I had time, and I think that was the most important thing, is time to spend alone. And like Arthur and I have talked lots before, isolation is it can be a bad thing, but it's also important to get to know that person. And
you have your beautiful wife, Marta.
yeah.
Sorry, babe.
It's
She
fun.
was over there.
We always every conversation tonight has come to a tribe, and that's really what it's about.
Yep.
I always try to do everything by myself, and one of the things that I learned from Arthur and you especially when we met was we don't have to do it alone.
You don't.
And especially guys, like I had this mentality when I was growing up that I couldn't ask for help from anyone. There were never conversations when I grew up in a family about feelings and stuff like that. And actually one of the first things that Arthur had me do, and it's funny, was he gave me a little pie chart, and it was just a bunch of feelings: happy, sad, the most intense ones in the middle, and then it branched out. And I had no idea what they were. My job, when I first started taking care of myself and self-care, was actually figuring out and identifying feelings so I could describe them to people. That's how broken that I was after all that.
And now you're doing school full time.
Yeah.
You're still working every day at your physical well-being.
Yeah.
You're still working every day at your self-accountability.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to balance? What are your coping skills?
Most of the time it's physical fitness. And that's what completely changed my life is when I started at the gym, Arthur had recommended something for me to do because I was in isolation and I had to get out and start to find my tribe. So I started going to the gym, and it was too much. So because the hypervigilance and everything was so bad after the accident that I actually had to pull a hat down over my eyes because every little flash or any movement or whatever would throw me right off my game, and I could never focus on anything. And that's what, this girl is the most resourceful and kind person that I have ever met in my life, and she helped me focus all my energy on what I'm doing now. And I'm really trying to build something here, and we're trying to build something for North Bay to help people get better. And
The shift is just
the
starting.
shift is just beginning, yeah.
Just starting.
Yeah.
Lots of plans. All right.
I just have to say too that I really believe that we have no limits.
No, we don't.
And when I was young, and I was telling the story to somebody earlier, I fell out of the back of a truck when I was working, and doctors told me that I would basically not have function of my back or my right leg properly for the rest of my life. Like I would always walk with a limp. So I did. I really did, until I was almost 40 and I got in that accident and I started the gym, and then I started to realize things were coming back. And doctors told me that I wouldn't have use to the legs and stuff like that, and I've gained back
You should see what he can
everything.
do.
Every single physical problem that I've had, I've fixed by myself.
Yeah.
Just through constant work. And you get back what you put in.
You do.
Yeah.